Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. When I started this podcast in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women business owners, creatives, and entrepreneurs. In each episode, my guests provide resources, valuable tips, and inspiration. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strength to achieve success on their own terms. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. I am so glad that you could join us today. And I want to introduce my guest, Donna Campbell. And she's founded Campbell Coaching and Consulting Group with a specific objective to help people live their lives according to their design and not their circumstances. And she will lead a workshop at the Meet the Motivator Symposium at Brampton's Sheridan College on Saturday, May 18th, which is called Healing Hearts, Empowering Women's Journey to Overcoming Love Addiction. So welcome to the show, Donna.
Hi there, Deborah. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be with you.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you here. So we are going to talk a little bit about the Meet the Motivators a little bit later, but right now, if you could just share with us how you got started in the work that you're doing right now.
All right. So let me tell you a little bit about me. So I have been in the mental health profession for over 30 years. I have worked from being a frontline nurse towards a lot of part of my profession, leadership positions, various leadership positions. I had the opportunity to retire last year, and primarily to focus on the second half of my life, which is, as you just mentioned, this lovely company that I have started. So throughout my time in on the front lines and so on, I saw people coming into the emergency room, Deborah, over and over with a lot of different stressors. Some, of course, we understand with mental health, you have some that are on various spectrums. A part of this had a lot to do with adjustments. And that, by saying that, I meant like situations, lack of coping. And the two that stood out to me were relationships and, of course, work. Two main stressors that people had. There are others, there's finances and so on. So I decided, you know what? If I ever got a chance, I really just want to make sure I go out and I start to train people how to live their lives, really according to their designs, not according to what life throws at them, but there's actually a model to actually going through and living your life according to your design. So I'm blessed to have had that chance to now be able to do this entrepreneurial work. I'm excited. And here I work as an RN Psychotherapist. I am a mental health specialist because of my years of work. And my business really is one that's a personal and organizational development consulting company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow, that sounds great. So, why would you say that you do the work that you do? Like, what was your motivation to do this?
You know what, sitting through, I'll tell you, back in 2014, I always knew that I wanted to speak with women on another level. Back in 2014, I started going through various situations where my marriage had finally, it was on life support for a while, it fell apart. My mother passed away, loved her dearly, passed away, and I was hit with two major stressors. I realized that during that time, I had difficulty coping. And I remember even prior to the relationship ending, I would be at work. And one of the greatest positions I had was that of a crisis counselor. Loved it because that was, get a front line of raw pain. And I would go in and my dream team and we would be just wonderful. We're just taking care of people. They're coming in and out. We're sending you to the right referrals. But here I was in this midst of this dilemma. The person who's helping everybody, and I'm going through my own breakup myself. And I talk a lot about when I would be leaving work in tears and heading to my car after being a powerhouse in the emergency room and feeling as if I had no one to talk to. And the way I coped was very poor. I pulled away. I didn't talk much. And I went through this, I suffered in silence in my own way. And with everything, I didn't really talk much to people because who does the counselor go to? That was my own dilemma. That was my own distortion, I would say. And I pretty much stayed to myself in my own journey. And somehow, because of the information that I was exposed to with my profession, I was somehow able to pull myself up and out of it by my bootstraps. Yes, with the support of a couple very good, close people. And I managed to be back on track. And I decided that, you know what, I want to start helping people, primarily women. And I work, Deborah, with mainly women and adults. Um, to kind of pull themselves together. I learned a lot of coping that I didn't know. A lot of people, when I'd be in the emergency, would say, gosh, I wish someone had taught us some of these skills before, because who teaches about relationships? Who teaches us about what to do with certain things? Nobody does. So, given all this information, I was just excited to come out and just say, you know what, I want to start going through. My story is deep and long, and people are going to have to come to meet the motivators to get bits and pieces of it. But, it's a terrific healing journey, which has taken me on this path right now.
Mm-hmm. What services do you provide for the most part to your clients?
So I again stick with the whole aspect of the mental health spectrum. And as I said before, I work primarily with relationships or work. Before I go into what I do, I'll tell you another motive to why I do what I do. Stats say that 1 in 5 Canadians are affected by some kind of a mental health illness. 40% of them, they're the ones who have said that their mental health deteriorated after the pandemic. But what hit me most of all, Deborah, is this stigma that 75% of working population carries because they're afraid of talking about any kind of mental health struggle that they have. Do it because of stigma, because of fear of what people have to say, because of God knows what. But they go to work. If you think about the amount of time we spend in the workplace and what's happening in the workplace, then you'll see, we've got some problems. So
Mm-hmm.
here's my solution. So I like to call my services solutions. For the solutions for individuals, first of all, is I want to provide adults with a place. So I provide adults with a space that it's safe, it's free from stigma, it's personalized, it meets what they need. I tailor it to them, and they get a chance to really bounce things off. What I love about this title that I have is that I'm not only a registered nurse who approaches things with a holistic background, but I'm also in the therapy version where I can break things down. So you don't just come with one problem and we only address it. I address it from being a whole person. So that's my solutions for individuals in terms of therapy. Another part that I provide is the consulting services. So one of the things that I do is I assist individuals with understanding pretty much their situations, understanding that their thoughts affect their emotions, which affect their behaviors. I pull this all into skills which are psychometrics, is what I'm going to go into. It's going to sound a little bit strange to someone who may not know, but actually, Deborah, if you ever get a chance to meet me, I'd love to do this with you also. One of the things that people do, they don't understand that a lot of times for us to be in our sweet spot, that zone of productivity, we have to make sure that our feelings, our affective portion of our minds, add up or coincide with the cognitive portion of our minds, which is a doing part of the mind. Mixed with knowledge, you're in the right place. But we approach life with this. How can I put it? We approach life with this trial and error method when now I can take the guesswork out of a lot of different things. People don't know what they don't know. And I'm telling you, after I did assessments such as Colby and Myers-Briggs and understood my conflict styles, I realized, oh my goodness, I wish I'd known this before I started my profession. Not toward the latter part of it. I wouldn't have made such a fool of myself on the job. I would have been working in jobs that were, good for me. I would have been relating according to how my natural tendencies are. And it would have given you the ability to actually thrive versus striving in your home life and in your careers. So I do that with individuals, leaders. I love working with organizations and teams, so forth. And one of the newer portions that I'm putting myself into now is actually to provide mental health solutions to workplaces. So all this stigma stuff, I do fantastic workshops in organizations to help people to accept, be tear down stigma. I can provide HR supports for making sure we've got the right people in the right positions. And I love doing a lot of the speaking engagements, of course, to motivate and inform people about any topic regarding mental health. So that's pretty much kind of it's a big role, but I'm telling you, I'm enjoying every piece of it and this new entrepreneurial world, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, it
Yeah.
certainly does sound like you cover a lot
I
of.
do. I do. Honestly, I do. But I love it. I was telling a friend of mine that yes, I worked hard when I was in corporate. And now it's been 2 years that I'm on my own now. You work harder. I wish someone had told this girl that being an entrepreneur is not the easiest. There is nobody to call to say, hey, could you send this off? And could you? No, you
Right.
do every single thing for yourself. So pretty much it's just, I only have a team of two at this time, actually a team of three, sorry. And, everybody has their own role. And I'm so glad and grateful for that help. But you are working, putting in some serious hours to give quality work. But I love it.
Oh, that's great then. That's great. But
Yeah.
yes, you are correct. I think a lot of people don't realize the work that's involved when they are doing something on their own, because it often is made to look like it is very romantic, and
Yes.
people don't tell other people about
Hmm.
the challenges and the hours and the sacrifices and things like that. They just
Yeah.
talk about the what appears to be fun part or the
Exactly. Yes.
freedom part, but there's,
Yes. It's a lot of work.
yes.
But I'll tell you, for me, I'm deep and I'm kind of spiritual. This is I feel as if I live in purpose every morning I get up. Um,
Mm.
I'm not reacting to life. I've come full circle and I've
Hmm.
designed the life I want to live. And that's what I want to teach everybody to do. And like all the people who come around, I want to show you how to live. Um, there are many parts, but these two this aspect of it, there's I'm in later fall. I'm doing this. I'm publishing this book. It's going to be. I'm going to release it in the fall, and it's about acute. I said it's called taking back control of your life using the acute method, and pretty much it is about foundations in just regaining control. I won't put a spoiler out there, but if they follow me, they'll get release dates and so on. So just
Hmm.
tidbits. Got a couple of things going on.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's great. So that'll be something for people they can find out more about.
Yes.
So, pertaining to one of the things that you touched on, what is a love addiction?
Wonderful. So when I first started talking about this love addiction, a friend of mine said to me, "Is that even a thing? I know about substance use and all that." And yeah, love addiction is a thing, and it's something that is a lot of us women we suffer in silence with that, right? So pretty much, love addiction is like okay, how do I put it? It's a misdirected search for love and worth and validation. We all love being in relationships. We all enjoy companionship and so on. But here's a problem with that, Deborah. When a person finds that they find their self-worth, their self-validation, um, and they don't even realize it's really a search for unmet needs that are going on. That sometimes these unmet needs come from our past, like traumas and past experiences and childhood experiences, how our parents or our loved ones or those who are in authority withheld love or gave love. When you're at the workshop, I'll talk a bit about attachments and how they're formed. Some people, when this need's not really met, they end up being in these situations where they're just always seeking out and seeking after this fulfillment out of relationships, which somehow becomes like a form of emotional dependence. So it's like you find that sometimes people will have emotional dependency to avoid loneliness or just go from one relationship to the next just to avoid being filling that void. No, sometimes it's best, not sometimes, it is best to stop, take a look at it, and say, what is going on here? It has some other symptoms. If I want to I'll just go into that right now. Some of the symptoms that you'll find if you want to know, well, I'm one that's addicted to this emotional dependence, if you don't want to call it love addictions. It's pretty much sometimes choosing unavailable partners who aren't even interested in you. But you just cling to this thing because it gives you a sense of something. For some, it
Hmm.
may be a sense, I'm not lonely, at least I'm in a relationship, at least, at least, and it's really not working for you, but you stay there anyways. Sometimes it works out to be, it looks like this tendency to neglect anything that you have, your personal needs just for your partner and to stay in it. You almost lose yourself in it when it's not even working for you. You cling on to this thing for dear life. Some people, they go through it by multiple partners. It could be the same thing that you realize is not working, but you don't even know what to do about it. right? And sometimes they experience a lot of these, just like with substance withdrawals, you get withdrawals from people too, which comes in the form of anxiety and depression, lack of sleep, lack of this, lack of whatever, can't eat, can't this, and it really does manifest itself in many ways, just like the other forms of addictions. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. A lot of people experience it, but they don't know until it's symptomatic that they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what would be some tips for women to become empowered and overcome a love addiction?
Some tips for women to be empowered and overcome love addiction. Number one is finding out, becoming awareness is the key to every single thing. Um, People don't like to sit and study themselves, and I'll say it over and over. You don't know what you don't know. We got to be aware of where we've been, what we've been through, how we coped with how we went through what we went through. Um, yeah, just look at how we are. How are we behaving? How am I feeling? What are some of the things that I'm doing? Am I comfortable with being me? Am I using these relationships to soothe something? And sometimes, as I said before, people, especially with a traumatic history, aren't even aware because, if I go back to even before I give tips, I got to teach people, well, what does a healthy relationship look like? Honestly, Deborah, when I was growing up, I never really got a lot of training. I didn't get any. I just kind of learned
Mm-hmm.
by trial and error. Did you ever go to a class on, oh, hey, or this is relationship 101? Have
Mm.
you ever been to one before?
No.
Many of us aren't. We just know one day we get up and okay, so I met Johnny. Oh, he's nice, he's cute, he's what? And okay, next thing you know, we get married or we're having a baby, and okay, next thing I'm a mother. Oops, I'm working. I'm doing, and I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just going through life, which was pretty much my
Mm.
case. I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have a chance to look at I didn't know. But one day you wake up and you're saying to yourself, well, I'm a mother, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a professional, but I don't even know about healthy relationships. Sometimes things don't feel right, but you don't know how to change. So the biggest part of what I do is I teach foundational things. And that's what I talk about. We don't need to go through life by trial and error. We can actually learn the proper methods of how to do things. What is a good relationship? What does that look like? What are our values? What do we do? Like, and I want to give some of those tips off to people. But yeah, awareness is a big part. And I want to teach about steps to, becoming less emotionally dependent and be more emotionally independent.
Mhm.
I don't want to give away too much in my workshop, but if you got to know me, Deborah, I'm very lively. Uh, you will have a great laugh. You will have probably a great cry. You will leave with some strategies. You will leave feeling like, okay, I got this. And be honest, you will stop and you'll look at your situation. You'll be able to say, seriously, I was driving myself insane over this. Trust me. So yeah, it's eye-opening. It's very I love to do that shock and awe. But the thing with adults, and I've learned this over time, when adults are actually, and you may have experienced this, when you actually get proper information, not just someone's opinion, but when you have information based on facts, best practices, and it's presented in a manner that you can actually digest it, you actually have a aha moment. It's like, okay. So it's because I have this interesting way about my personality when I finished my Myers-Briggs types things with you, and you realize, okay, so I've got a lot of the way I perceive the world is a lot with my feelings. Therefore, I have this tendency to overdo it with my feelings. You know what I mean? And I'm
Right.
like, okay, so I know I have this kind of guard. Now, when I'm going into relationships, I'm going to arm myself differently. I got to be careful. It works me in one end, but it can also bite me in my behind in the other end. So I want you to leave knowing who you are. So when we face the world and we choose to design it the way we want to, it's not a trial and error. I'm armed and I'm dangerous when I step out. And that's just how it is.
Mm.
Yeah.
That sounds great. So, is this some of what people can expect from your workshop at the Meet the Motivators
You're gonna get
event?
more. You're gonna get so much more. As I said, you know what? When you get a group of women, so here are these wonderful topics that we're gonna touch on. And I really don't want to give it all away. I want you all to come and experience this because the workshop is an experience. I want you to come prepared. As I said, come with your Kleenex box or your stuff to laugh. Bring a drink of water with you. No liquor allowed in this session. Uh, you come prepared to really sit back and be in a group. If you ever, there's a synergy that occurs with a group of like-minded women, some who have been there, some who have done that, some who are just entering, and we can mentor each other, we can talk and support each other in a safe space. This is not one of these sessions, and I don't know if I pardon my French, but this is not a bitch session. We don't talk about disliking our partners. No, none of that. We're talking about strengthening ourselves so we can be better partners, better people, people that can be more productive. And I don't care if you're going through it, if you're married, if you're single. If you're single, I want you to come and learn about relationships. If you're going through something and it's rough, I want you to come and just learn. You don't have to say a word. If you are secure in your inner relationship and it's working great for you, you're going to meet a friend who will need your support. Instead of giving them stupid advice, come learn the real facts of how to support our sisters, our family members when they're in need. That's the kind of thing I want to make sure this you leave with. When you leave, you're going to leave feeling like, okay, I got this. We're good.
That sounds fantastic. I guess people can get a lot out of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the Meet the Motivators, I know is something that happens, I believe it's every year.
Yeah, it's every year.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds as though it's really a very good event for people to come and learn from and also meet other people.
Yes, it is. It's fantastic. I'll tell you, I was introduced to Meet the Motivators last year, first
Mm-hmm.
time. I didn't know about it because I was one of those who just had my head down and I would work. I worked all the time. I didn't really have time to look at anything. I didn't network. I didn't know a thing. Hence, when I came into the entrepreneurial world, it was like, whoa, I got to learn a lot of stuff. I got to learn how to network. I got to like people. I got to be out. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter is the one who actually invited me because she had been before. And she says, Mom, I think this would be really good. You got to come meet some people. So I went out last year. By the time she introduced me to Jacqueline, and I'm telling you, I hate to really put people up on a pedestal so high, but this is one of the most influential ladies that has entered my life for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I am the one who's encouraging and edifying and so forth. And Jacqueline has a method about her that is just so relatable and open. She's one of the first women I've met who's willing to allow other women to just be and evolve and to grow. And she has opened up some doors and made some ways, which I'm eternally grateful for. I will support her cause throughout. So when I attended last year, it was fantastic. She gave me, so by the time I met her last year, I got a quick stint just to do a quick intro into who I am and what I do. But I was taken by this thing. The speakers, the atmosphere, the setup, the professionalism, the information. I'm saying to myself, where the hell have I been?
Mm-hmm.
All this time. Why didn't I know about this thing before? And I think I didn't know because I didn't want to know. And again, that's where we perish because of lack of knowledge. Sometimes we can't just sit there and clean the house on a Saturday as we normally do, or just walk the dog. These basic routines. No, get out there. There's so much more going on in the world that you're not even aware of. Your solution could be right over happening in a building up in Sheridan on the 18th. You never know. You know what I mean? So I got a chance to do that last year, and this year I'm really grateful to have a full workshop to kind of just support and encourage and help and get out there. Day two is ridiculously fantastic. Myself and my daughter went for day two, and I'm telling you, I danced the whole night through. The speakers were amazing. The food was amazing. The presentation was amazing. And trust me, I've been to a few of these now, and that one still reigns as the best. So I'm telling anybody, my friends, whoever, I'm saying, come on, you guys don't miss this one. So if you don't have an appointment that is a must, trust me. Or if it's not that, if it's not that serious, I say cancel it and head on over there. It's worth it. It is so worth it. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's one that
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to every year. And even if I'm not presenting, I know I'll be there next year to help support this team because I love it.
That sounds fantastic. I think that's something a lot of people can get something out of. So, if they're going to be hearing this before the event takes place. So hopefully that you're listening in, that you will certainly check that out. And we'll have links in the show notes as far as, you being able to check their website and see what you have to do to register. But it's, from what I understand, it's just really really good event to go to and to make connections with other people and really to come out there, as the title of it says, come out of it motivated and
Yes,
ready to do what you have to do. So,
yes, yes.
yeah. It sounds like it's definitely an event you don't want to miss because
Oh,
there's so much you're going to get out of it.
yeah, it is. It
Yes.
is. I'm telling you, there's no one who'll leave without getting something, Deborah.
Mm-hmm.
Some you'll leave with so much. We've got three, and I'm calling them now my sisters. We've got three sisters of us. We just connected, but we're all talking about different mental health topics. One of my sisters, Sandy, is talking about trauma and grief and trauma that she went through, lots of trauma. And she wrote a couple of books here. She'll talk about it whenever you meet up with her. And another one that's another fantastic new voice you're going to hear is Nicole, and she's coming from a perspective of grief and trauma also. And I'm like, so we're the three mental health people this year. You've got others who are giving other great segments. We've got featuring women in skills workshops. We've got immigration. We've got therapies. There's so many different bits and pieces. I don't want to leave out anybody. Of course, Fabulous Jacqueline talking about how to get your business going and all that, which I don't want to miss those ones. So although I'm presenting, I'm also learning, and we're always
Mm-hmm.
learning. So day one is amazing. It is $69 for day one. I think day two is 159. We know that times are rough. If people are listening and they can't really afford it, inbox, say something. If you follow me and and I don't want to even go jump ahead with it, but my Instagram handle. And Deborah, I'm trying to build up my Instagram following. So I'm one of these more mature people who I did not jump onto Instagram until last year. And I need some followers, okay? So I need people to follow me at Consult Donna and ask me how they can get tickets. You never know. You may get a surprise. You may get a free ticket yourself. Ask me, what are some of those things you're talking about, Donna? You never know. I may give you a discount off of so and so, but I'm not going to give it away for free. So you got to follow me. I'm looking for followers on Instagram. And yes, I'm ashamed to say it. It's only my second year on LinkedIn, but follow me on LinkedIn also. It's Donna A. Campbell. So follow me there. Where else can my site is Campbell Coaching and Consulting Group.ca. And when you get on that, if you get to that, you can always get to anything. So you can get to any other platform, my email and so on. But I'm looking forward to actually helping people to get through to this phase. And if you are an individual out there it doesn't have to be only relationship problems. If you're struggling, period, because my main thing, if you ask me what it is, I call myself a white blood cell. I show up in pain. So if you're going through any kind of emotional pain, reach out. Reach out to someone who's seasoned, experienced. Um, there's not a lot that I have not seen or done or felt or counseled or supported with. And if I can't help you, I'll direct you to where you can. But I guarantee you, I do not want another uh, sister, another soul, another being to suffer in silence. That's truly what motivates me now. So I really want to make sure people get the help they need. I know that we're going through, the healthcare industry has gone through all kinds of changes, and sometimes we suffer in silence and we don't hear about things until you hear, oh, one of our lovely sisters completed suicide. When that happens, it wrenches my soul. And I'm like, wow, I wish somebody could reach out. So I want people to reach out about anything. If you're going through work stressors, family stressors, whatever it is, just reach out and let's see what we can do.
That is really excellent to hear that because you never know. People go through so much and they don't tell other people, as you were saying, they don't reach out for whatever reason, and they
Yeah,
don't realize that there is help there for them.
yeah,
Hmm. So
yeah.
you do you work mostly with people in Canada or do you work outside?
Anywhere.
Okay.
So here's what lovely COVID taught us. You can be in one end of the world and be across a team. One of the teams I worked with was all the way in Switzerland.
Mm.
And I'm like, when they reached out, I'm like, what the hell? Whoa. And I'm like, I've never been here. So will they speak the language? But yeah, they spoke English, whatever. So a team that went all over. So I work anywhere because a lot of this is done on Zoom, right?
Hmm.
I do. So sometimes you can have team conferences online. I absolutely, however, love in person because that's when if you can't see me now, you should see me. I know you can't see me, but my hands are going, my voice is popping, my face is animated, and we lose that portion when we do the onlines.
Hmm.
However, it's awesome for people who can't get around. It's cheaper in some ways, but in persons are dynamic, and those are my favorites. So I go anywhere in Canada. One of the things I'm going to be doing, so two parts I want to make sure I plug in this love addictions piece, which is really emotional pain and healing from emotional pain is something I'm going to be taking across Canada. And if the US wants me, somebody can find. So if you have an organization or if people have organizations and they're looking for like a powerhouse person to come in and kind of do these workshops, I'm fine. I'm willing to do so. Myself and my team, we're also willing to set up the workshop. It's bigger. So this is a 1 hour for Meet the Motivators. I've got half days and I got full days that various skills will be in there because it's a lot. If you're going to talk about moving from one way of being to another, you need to learn certain things about yourself, yes, but then I need to learn, well, how do I communicate? How do I assert myself? Do I know how to make boundaries? Do I know how to communicate effectively to effectively communicate for my needs? Do I really know certain things? And I like to go through these things and not rush it with people. So we get to space out the day a bit more. So I'm open to working right across Canada and the US, primarily. If you want to fly me to Switzerland, feel free. But so I am just open to spreading the word and not making things dry. I've been to so many boring workshops. No, I can't do that. I'm blessed with this way of engaging and helping and keeping things alive and being real. I'm ridiculously approachable. But at the same time, I cut to the chase. So while I'm so kind, I warn people that we need to have transformation. So if you really want to see yourself change, I'm going to have to hit you where it hurts sometimes, in a loving way, but just to kind of wake you up to say, hey, come on now, come on, this is some BS we're doing right now. Let's keep it moving. So I do that kind of coachy piece to keep things going. But I love people and I love them to see them excel and just shine.
And that really is important because that's the part of motivation, of course, that's very important, and also helping people to get to whatever it is inside of them that they have to bring out or address their hurts and things maybe that they weren't even really sure about. And all of this is part of the process of really stepping into who you are, who you could be. So I definitely see that, that process could really be so helpful for so many people. And, you mentioned like post COVID, a lot of people have felt certain things that came up
Yes.
during that time of isolation for some. And it led to a lot of times people may be seeking out more help maybe than they may have before. So
Yeah.
now is definitely the time to pay attention to that if you're looking for something, and really take advantage of the help that is out here to help you to be better and feel better. So I definitely see that you have such a fantastic enthusiasm for this, and bringing so much to it, and how that can be so helpful for people who just don't know where to turn. So,
Yes.
yeah, I think that's why I definitely wanted to find out if where you reach out to and who works with you, because as you said, it's not just being in one place anymore. So people can really take advantage of things in different places now than maybe
Yes.
they could before.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. You anytime. So I think it's good. It can be, and if I try to get back to people right away, but even if some people find that they fall into this dark place primarily on weekends. If you pull yourself away,
Mm.
one of the positions I had was working in an adult day program, and we would actually set plans for people on a Friday. So they can have something to do on the weekends because when they're not engaged and you're withdrawn, the dark thoughts come, and what do you do? No, we can work plans. You can work out plans to go and do what you got to do. I know there are lots of services. I find a lot of professionals, however, don't like the stigma of going into certain organizations and spaces because
Mm-hmm.
my clientele happens to be primarily professional, and a lot of women, primarily
Mm-hmm.
professional women, who, because of stigma, they still are afraid of just saying, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
feeling good. I'm miserable. How am I gonna cope with this bloody divorce? I gotta come here and I'm CEO and I am and I don't know what to do. And they have a safe space to just be because been there, done that. So let's talk, and
Mm-hmm.
they can go back and learn. Some people, what I'm finding also, Deborah, with some of my leadership clients, you get a lot of millennials who are having these leadership positions, but who's teaching them how to assert themselves? So here you are, leadership, but you don't know how to manage conflict, and you don't know how to, what do you call it? just even communicate effectively with some. You're wondering, well, what do I do? How do I work with these ones? How come I can't get this person to do this? And I actually coach people through that, and that's through some of these testings that I actually do with it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
to show you how to figure out leadership styles and what type of a person are you and how do you approach certain things. Because once they know, it's like, okay, then they realize, okay, so I need to learn, I need to get these skills. It's like going to a grocery store and putting certain tools in your basket. Okay, so I need to pick up some of this. I need to pick up some conflict. I need to pick up some assertiveness training. I need to pick up some communications training. And you go through that kind of thing. So that's what we work with. And it's all about educating, educating, educating. And then we get a great chance to role play. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
like doing behind the scenes. So they got meetings to go to next week. Okay, so we're going to role play this week. And they walk into their meetings with success. And that's what's made this business be that separates it in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
ways
Mm-hmm.
from a lot that's on the table. Because
Mm-hmm.
here you have this RN psychotherapist with all these psychometric skills, lived experience, knows healthcare inside out, who's going to be your person to take it across to the next level. So that's kind of how I roll.
Well, that's fantastic. It really is. And you
Yeah,
definitely got everything there that you've shared with us about how people can benefit and why working with you would be so good for them. And also you or your presentation as you've shared a little bit about what that's going to be about. So I think that this is definitely been a fantastic conversation. I know you have a busy day and talking to people about what's coming up. So, though I know we could continue for a while, I know you've got to get going. So I
yes,
appreciate the time that you have been able to spend with us
yes.
today and sharing what you're doing and your company and what you
Oh,
will be
my
doing at
pleasure.
the event. And I just want to say I really appreciate that you've been able to stop by and share this with us, Donna, and perhaps later on at some point we could chat again about some other things
Yes.
that you're doing.
Definitely, definitely. I'm so thankful, Deborah, and for programs like this that gives people a chance to, entrepreneurs a chance to just, talk about what they do and get the word out there. So I'm really grateful for you, and I wish you all continued blessings in what you're doing. I don't know if you're going to be at the Meet the Motivate. I'm going to be there this year, but if you're coming, buckle up and get ready.
Well, unfortunately, I will, but I certainly would want to try to get to one at some point,
Yeah,
actually, because from what I understand, they are just such great events. So I think
it's
that's
wonderful.
something I hope to get to in
It's
the
wonderful.
future, since I
All
can't,
right.
unfortunately, can't get to this next one. So
Ah, all right. Next
wonderful.
time. All
So
righty.
everyone, I know you've enjoyed this conversation. As I said, links will be in the show notes. So you can check out more what's going on with Donna and also about the Meet the Motivators event. So I hope that you will follow up with that and find out more about that. And maybe even if you can't get there this time around, they will have more events. So you definitely can take advantage of that. And as I said, also check in with Donna and her website and her social media and follow her and see what she's up to as well. So
Yes,
once
at
again,
Consult Donna.
right? I'll make sure I put all that in the show notes there for everyone. So once again, so Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. I want to thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye now.
Bye.